Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Big test. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. ABC. ABC, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. ABC. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay.
I hear the music now.
When you talk, can you hear yourself in the headset?
Yeah.
Do the ABCs. Do the ABCs.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, yeah.
Can you hear all that? It should be good then.
I heard it already on the thing.
No echo?
I couldn't tell because the music was so loud.
Okay, yeah. Hopefully I got rid of it last night, so it should be fine.
So now we can hear everything we're saying.
All right, good afternoon. Welcome to Germantown Academy. Today we are here to live stream the girls volleyball match versus the George School, and this is Germantown Academy's Game of the Week, something that we started this year. My name's Tim Ginter. I'm the Director of Athletics here at Germantown Academy. Today I'm joined by longtime faculty member, golf coach, assistant boys lacrosse coach, former volleyball coach, and of course the honorary member, the class of '76, Dave Martin. Good afternoon, Dave.
Good afternoon, Tim. Thanks for inviting me.
So hopefully everyone gets a chance to sit back and relax and watch our Patriots take on the Cougars of George School. Out on the court for Germantown Academy, we have the libero, Alexandra De La Franza, Carolyn Smith, Liv Reynolds, Kate Stone, Caitlin Procorny, and Angie Wang. Expect a little bit of a rotation today from Germantown Academy. There'll be a number of players coming in. We'll try to keep you updated as we go. Dave, as we get ready to start here, as a former volleyball coach, without seeing a ton of action from either of these teams, what would you expect to be a key to winning this game?
Serving is always a key. Being able to put your serves in and be able to receive your opponent's serves.
And we're off.
Nice pass.
And there's one. Kate Stone at it again. The other day, Kate Stone against the Baldwin School had 30 assists. So she's already off to a fast start.
That was an excellent first pass.
Into the game to serve Maria Petko. I spoke to Coach Doherty before the game, and he says that serving is definitely one of his team's strengths. So we'll have to follow that as the match goes on.
Nice hit by the George School player.
And that will tie it at 1 in this first set.
That was called on George School.
That'll make it 2-1 GA. You see on the
can never touch the net in volleyball.
You see walking onto the court is first-year coach Chuck Doherty. Have a little bit longer to talk about Coach in between sets in his first year and what they've been able to accomplish so far. Unable to clear the net. Makes it 3-1 Germantown Academy.
You keep putting your serves in, you have an opportunity to score points in volleyball. Little dink by the George School player. Nice play.
It's got to be important, I would think, to take advantage of those opportunities really close to the net and kind of bury them and kill them for those points when you have them.
Absolutely. Goes out.
It's out.
They're attempting a back row hit from the 10-foot line. The 3 players who start in the back row are not allowed to hit in front of the white line, the 10-foot line.
It's still Petko, De La Franza, and Wang.
It's a good tip. Anytime the ball is very close to the net like that, the preferred play is usually a tip rather than try and set that ball.
There's Hirsch for Wang. Hirsch is one of the 3 captains on Germantown Academy. Ellie Smith also in the game now, one of the other 2 captains. The out call makes it 5-3 GA.
And the GA girls did a good job of communicating with one another about the ball being out.
As I said, I was talking to Coach before the game. He said a lot of the aspects of their game are really starting to come around recently after a little bit of a stretch where they struggled in some of those aspects of the game. It's a point by George School, now 5-4 GA. Out, and that will tie it at 5 in this first set.
Need to get a little crisper with their first pass going to the setter.
I do know the last time that they played, unfortunately, there is not a ton of volleyball teams around. The last time that they played, the Germantown Academy did go on a really long stretch of successful serves.
Again, George School touched the net, which gives the point to GA.
That's Reynolds and Pokorny back into the game for GA. Reynolds to serve.
It's a nice ball up by George School. Well done. Good set to the middle hitter. Put the ball away.
And that was Smith, Ellie Smith, on the kill. As I said, I'll keep coming back. Passing so important. You already mentioned that. And Coach Doherty saying that that's going to be one of the main keys to the game, is for them to continue to pass crisply. Stoppage in the action. Now 8-5 GA.
Good serve. Well done.
That's
good
out.
Pass, good hit.
And once again, touching on the conversation with Coach before the game, serving being one of their strengths. Lucky enough to come up and watch practice pretty often, and they do spend a considerable amount of time working on this, so it's not a surprise that that would be one of their strengths. Just a little bit short with that one. That'll make it 9-6 GA.
I think if you went to volleyball practices throughout the country in high school and college, you'd see a lot of teams working on serving on a regular basis. Serving under pressure, thinking of all different ways to handle the responsibility of putting the serve in play. Good ball. Good.
Oh, great save.
Good effort.
Really good effort. Comes up just a little bit short. That makes it 9-7 GA in this first set still.
Another good hit from the middle hitter, Ellie Smith. Most hits in the middle, there is only one blocker, which gives the hitter a little bit more room to hit down the to the corners. That was a double hit on George School.
And with that double hit, it is now 11-7 GA. Make that 12 with the out call. Ellie Smith still serving.
Nice deep serve. Good block. Well
Great
done.
play. Yeah, great play by Smith. Says she's on a little bit of a roll now. I just jinxed her. And that'll make it 13-8 GA. Substitution for George, as well as GA. Miscommunication there by GA. That'll make it 13-9.
The setter has to get there, and if she can't get there, she has to tell her teammate to take that ball.
George School hanging in there, 13-10.
Our setter, Kate Stone, is playing the first ball over, which is challenging because then she has to use somebody else as a setter. So as much as possible, it's good for her not to play the first ball if she can get away with it.
Now, is there a strategy that you could use as a coach to try to keep her from doing that? Or is it just a luck of the draw?
Well, there are strategies in terms of not even putting her in a position to hit the ball.
Got it.
Just to use your other 5 players. Typically you're blocking with 1 or 2 players, but the other 3 or 4 players have to.
It's a substitution for GA. Chawla coming in for Zoe Hirsch. Angie Wang back in for the Patriots. 14-10 now GA in this first set. Great dig. It's out.
She let that ball get behind her head a little bit. Maybe a little more patience before she hits the ball, before she attacks the ball. Keep it out in front of her.
Now the George School got off to a pretty fast start. They had a great win against Academy in the New Church. Since then, they've fallen a little bit on hard times, but you would never know that by them hanging in here like this in this first set. They're playing pretty well.
They are playing well.
Is that a touch?
That was a touch. Point for GA.
Point GA. That'll make it 15-12 Patriots.
Yeah, it's an example of her. I didn't really hear her teammates calling one way or another whether the ball was going to be out or in, so she looked a little bit confused over on the side.
That's Petco and Evans back into the game. Very consistent server, Maria Petco.
GA touched the net. Point for George School.
And that'll make it 15-13 Patriots. It's always interesting, the high school athlete psyche, probably not even just high school, but we did play George School earlier in the year and were successful. They have fallen a little bit on hard times in terms of wins and losses, where we have started to play really well. You start to get that creep in about how we handled them last time, and
Yep.
you know, it's going to be on Coach Doherty and staff to make sure that we stay sharp. And that's a good start. 16-13 now, Patriots.
There's a lot of momentum swings in volleyball. You just have to stay consistent, fight your way through the momentum, keep putting your serves in.
It's Ellie Smith back into the game. It's an out call, and that'll make it 17-13 Patriots. You look on this roster, there's a number of girls that were able to play last year in that shortened season. You talk about consistency and kind of being able to ride that momentum roller coaster. I think last year is going to help a number of these girls as the season progresses. That ball was in.
That was in.
So it makes it 17-14 George School. Here comes some substitutions.
I think the issue you're talking about is going to be true throughout our seasons this year, with the consistency based on what happened last year and how many kids got an opportunity to play. Gain the important experience that they need.
Absolutely.
Good play by Ellie Smith at the net. Anytime it's a little short ball like that, it's really important for the players on the net just to get up and send it down to the floor. Easy point. You have to make sure you're not touching the net there.
It's Hirsch back into the game for GA and a missed serve. Now 18-14 Germantown Academy.
This really is the point in the game where you have to focus even more on your serving. Make sure the ball is going in each and every time.
And that's it. The Cougars continue to hang in there. 18-15 now.
They're doing a nice job. They're passing the ball well, getting the ball to their outside hitters. Good block.
Yep.
Kept the ball in play. It's a good hit by GA. Good back set.
That is
Out.
an out call. Point George School. It's 18-16 Patriots. You know, mentioned before, you know, to really kind of lock in and focus now towards the end of the set. It's amazing how many of these sports, the principles are true across the board.
Absolutely.
Starting games, finishing games, sets, quarters, whatever the case may be, halves. It's a great point for GA to get back on the board. Now 19-16. Picorni and Reynolds set this check back in for the Patriots. As we get ready for this serve, it's funny, we're talking about mental toughness. I know where you stand on this. It's a great plug for the multi-sport athlete and being able to play these multiple sports, and be in opportunities and stressful situations are only going to help you across the board.
That's
you know,
absolutely true. Carries over from one sport to the other, along with all the vision that you gain, being a good teammate, all the important intangibles that are important, that we all think are important in athletics. Good serve, very nice.
Great serve. And that'll make it 21-16 Germantown Academy. Reynolds serving. A miss there. That makes it 21-17. But just to go back to that point, in volleyball, another one of those sports a lot of natural marriages, specifically basketball. You look at this roster, it's not necessarily laden with basketball players this year, but it's typically a team where you see a lot of crossover between those two. And you see the real correlation between the two sports, getting off the ground quickly, fast twitch muscle fibers and things like that.
When we first restarted the volleyball program in the late 80s, we played in the winter at the same time the basketball team, and I would constantly ask, can we move this to the fall? Can we move this to the fall? Because of what you said, there's lots of carryover where you could have basketball players and volleyball players. It's a great combination for them.
Caitlin Percorny on that one. That's 22-18 Patriots as we get ready. This set is closing in on the end. Both Smiths on the court, Stone, Reynolds, Hirsch, and Percorny.
Good serve.
That'll make it 23-18. Ellie Smith still serving.
Line driving deep, always a tough serve to handle in the back row. Good dig after the block. A nice hit by the George School player.
That's it, they just continue to hang in there. Cougars are really playing well.
They earned that point.
That'll make it 23-19 GA. Still in the first set. Della Franza back into the game for GA.
Good serve by George School.
We'll make it 23-20 GA. Back to your point, it's really time to lock in, close out this set.
It's always tough to return a serve that hits the net. Just alters it just enough.
23-21 GA.
Another nice play by George School at the net.
And just like that, it's a 1-point game. 23-22 GA.
This should be a good opportunity for GA. Tip, good ball.
Great kill. Yep, Percorny there. And get back on the board for GA. That's 24-22. That was a little bit of a run right there for the George School, and you have to take notice that the Germantown Academy players, they don't seem to get frazzled very easily.
No, they're keeping their confidence. Other teams are going to make good plays. It's a good serve.
It's an out call there. Angie Wang back in for the Patriots. It is now 24-23 GA. We have a check here on the score, apparently. It sounds like there may be a discrepancy. I can't say I noticed anything. I feel like they've been pretty much on top of it from the very beginning.
But at this point in the game, you definitely want to know what the accurate, correct score is. They seem to have sorted that out, and the score is 24-23 GA.
George School to serve.
Good deep ball. Good chance for an opportunity to hit the ball. And
there it is.
Good winning point.
And that is 25.
Now one of the keys is to take all that momentum and start the second game the same exact way. The longer you let them stay in the game, the more challenging it's going to be.
Absolutely. Now, as you watch that first set, you know, what are your general thoughts? George School, Germantown Academy, what are we doing well? What do we need to improve upon?
Well, I thought George School actually played well. They scrambled. They hit the ball well. They made some very nice passes. I think, as I said before, I think that we really have to, GA has to really concentrate on getting the ball to the setter once it comes over, and for her to distribute it to her teammates, either the middle hitters or the outside hitters, in order to be able to score some points off of that, because that's really where the offense comes from. Get the ball to the setter, hit it to the outside, and keep your opponent off guard when you're doing that. The second thing is we had one or two serves in the middle of the game when we could have. Well, the way I look at it is, since they've gone to rally scoring, which is what they're playing now, you're just giving points away when you don't get your serve in. And so there were 2 or 3 instances in the middle of the contest where we could have widened the gap, and we did not put the serve in play. You have to force the other team to actually make a good play to win the point. So I would say making sure that we're improving our serving in the middle of the contest, or actually throughout the whole contest, and really work on our passing skills and getting the setter to the ball and not having her play much defense.
So I look at this and I think, as someone who's been a long-time coach in this league especially, the league is very, very difficult, right? Name the sport, and it's a very difficult league. And the girls have started league play, and now you start to mix in these non-league games. You know, you can't help but think that, you know, you get yourself so fired up to play, you know, the Baldwins, the Springside Chestnut Hills, certainly Notre Dame, and then you mix in this non-league game, and there is the chance for a little bit of a letdown. You know, on the horizon here for the Patriots on their schedule is another matchup against perennial powerhouse Notre Dame. And I'm not saying that by any stretch of the imagination that they're overlooking an opponent, but you can't help but, you know, you can't help but know what your schedule is. And, you know, we did not have the greatest of outings against them the last time we played them. And I'd say for close to a decade now, the league is pretty much run through one school or the other.
Right.
So, you know, hopefully it was that close first set was just that. And I'm hoping to see a little bit of a more aggressive style of volleyball from GA in the second set.
And as a coach or who's ever doing the scheduling, it's often you try and put a school, not a non-league school, that you think you're going to be successful again, because that's good for your starting players, but also the possibility of getting some other younger players in to give them the chance to play. But you have to bear down, concentrate, focus. Hopefully we win this game and you get a 2-0 game lead, and then you can actually get some other kids into play and see what happens in the third game.
That is so important for non-league games, making sure that you keep as many people fresh as possible. Yep. It's a delicate balance act, though.
All of us who have coached for a long time know that.
True enough. True enough. On the court for the Patriots to start, we have Smith, Stone, Wang, and Percorny. Now it seems like the second set we've switched liberos. Della Franza has switched their jersey to the black 16. And now in red, we have Reynolds. Reynolds in a red 19 for this second set.
Traditionally, the libero is a defensive specialist. That's really their role, their job to play out there. There are also special substitution rules. A libero does not count against your number of substitutions, and they can go in at any point in the back row. They are not allowed to play in the front row. They can only play in the back row when they're out there. That's a rule that came to play internationally probably about 20 or 25 years ago. And it's really been a good spot for a lot of players, especially for people who aren't outside hitters, which usually means taller players. Often you'll see players who are a little bit shorter to be able to play that defense position, which is a very important position for most teams.
Quicker to the ground for the digs, things like that.
Absolutely.
Yep. Can't say I know exactly what the delay is, but we'll get ready for the second set soon enough.
The referees have to take the whatever the lineup in, and then they make sure everything is accurate. Then they check each player on the court to make sure they're in the right spot where they're supposed to be in order to be able to start the next game. That's important for as the game goes on, because you can only sub for the same player back and forth, and they have to be in a particular location in the rotation. There seems to be some question about who's supposed to be in right now. I suspect that whoever is in there has the wrong number jersey, and the referee is saying she can't be in there because she's supposed to be in number 22 and she's wearing number 16. So often that might just cost them a substitution at one of the substitutions that they can have. If 16 plays, they'll just say 16 substituting for 22.
No, it's they definitely, they're going to have a talk with the athletic director about jerseys after this one's over.
I saw we don't even have a number 22.
We do not have a 22 on our roster. As we sit here and wait for play to resume, I guess let's dive into a little bit about team building, right? So in your years of coaching volleyball, you know, what did you consider to be the most important aspects of team building? Do you start with, you know, trying to find a libero? Is it the outside hitters? Is every year just drastically different based on, you know, the girls that come out?
I always started with serving and the setter.
Serving in the setter.
Identify who the setter is. The setter is really the person who is the focal point of all of your offense, and they're there to help guide the team. They're a vocal leader. They always want the ball to go to the setter, and then she distributes it to wherever she wants it to go, to the middle hitter, to the outside hitters, or even to some back row hitters, depending on what level of talent that you have back there. And of course, as I said earlier, serving, from my perspective, serving is a crucial, an integral part of any volleyball team, and so you want all the players on the floor to be able to serve the ball. And if you can identify someone who's struggling with that but still is a good player, then you can always substitute for them and have somebody go in as the server for them when they're on the court. And then once you finish all that, you obviously want a good defensive team, and then you need some finishers. You know, any team, any sport needs finishers, which are in volleyball, those are the hitters. People who can win points for you during the course of the game.
All right, so we're ready to start this second set. Wang to serve. And that was out. 1-0.
Sometimes after a long delay like that, the players lose a little bit of concentration when they're getting started out. It's a good dig.
That's a great dig. A little bit of a miscommunication there. Now we tie it up at 1.
You always want to have, in that situation at George School, you want 5 players going for the ball instead of the nobody going for the ball.
I think it's a pretty good strategy.
Yes, it is. We still seem to be a little confused about what our rotation is right now. We have to get that straightened out so that we don't give up any easy points for being out of rotation. It's a nice deep serve. Call that in, must have hit the line in volleyball. If the ball hits the line, it is good.
I may be biased. That looked out to me.
I don't have my distance glasses. I couldn't see it.
It's Evans and Petco to check in for GA. It does. I do wonder if that layoff in between sets has kind of thrown us out of sorts.
Yep. I would have thought that was going to be a double hit.
And that'll make it 3-1.
Got to play that ball cleanly.
3-1 George School now.
A nice hit by the middle hitter for George School.
It was.
When our blockers go up, they have to try and extend their hands over the top of the net, pushing down, but that's hard because you got to make sure your hands are back and you don't touch the net on the way down.
Which we did a couple times in the first set, so it's. And that's out. That'll make it 5-1 George School.
We definitely are a little out of sorts here. Make one good play and then build upon that one play.
And that's out. That's 6.
Long. And you notice that almost all of the 6 points George School have been, 1 or 2 have been plays that they've scored points on, but the other 4 have been mistakes that we've made. Serving error, hitting the ball out of bounds. And this is a good timeout. You can tell Coach knows that we're a little out of sorts and we want to calm everybody down, take a deep breath, start playing a little bit better defense.
You touch on another one of those classic coaching adages, right? One play at a time. You know, let's get one in, let's get a point, let's build off that. I'm sure that's what we're talking about right now, right? Just kind of lock in, focus, a little bit of strategy, but really positive, right? Like, you know, we can get this back on track real quick. A lot of game left.
Yep.
George School's got to feel great about themselves right now after a close first set and the jump out to a 6-1 lead in the second.
Yep. One of the keys in volleyball is focus for the long. It's a long game, and you're out there for a long time, and you have to maintain your concentration and maintain your focus over extended periods of time. And there are definitely, over the course of matches, course of seasons, definite peaks and valleys that occur out there. That was a good ball.
That's amazing. That's probably at least the 5th time that George School has served and hit the net. That's got to be difficult to try to make that adjustment on the fly.
If you could actually teach kids to hit the net on purpose, it would be very beneficial to your team. Double hit for the setter of George School, so a point for GA.
And that could be it right there. Right there's 2 in a row. 6-3 now, George School.
The key is to get these serves in, make them handle the ball. You can see they make some defensive errors when you make them handle the ball.
It's Carolyn Smith to serve.
Another good serve. Good ball.
That is a great ball by Angie Wang.
Good hit.
Yep. It's 7-3 George.
Now Kate Stone, as a setter, played that first ball over, and it may have been a better opportunity to let one of her teammates play it so that she can actually set the ball. Nice play by George School.
Yep. And then I'll make it 8-3 George School now. Still just seems they seem a little bit out of sorts in this second set. You can tell sometimes that, you know, those unforced errors, points for George, they kind of look around a little bit.
Definitely a sport where you have to forget about what happened. You got to make the next play. Can't worry about what just happened. If you miss your hit, you got to step up next time and swing just as hard. Put the ball in play.
All right.
Double hit.
It's a point for GA. Makes it 9-4 George School. On the floor for GA, Stone, Reynolds, Petco, Evans, Hirsch, and Smith.
Good. That was a nice hit. Shook off the mistake that she made in the earlier point and put the ball in play. There's some power on it.
And if you've been paying attention, right, there's something that you've mentioned already. You can tell in these last couple of back and forth, these volleys, that Kate Stone has been setting and not playing that first ball.
That's so important. We're playing with a single setter alignment. Some teams will play with 2 setters in there so that you have 2 different people who can handle the ball for you.
Go.
Good.
All right. Here, this could be the run we were expecting.
Yep.
It's now 9-7 George School.
That was a good scrappy point for both teams, actually.
It's a nice little serve run for Kate Stone. Wow,
Good
look
ball,
at that.
good ball.
Great play. And out.
Good scrappy play by GA. Get the ball off the ground.
Timeout, George School.
Yep. Again, coach of George School senses a little run by GA, so he's going to try and break the momentum a little bit. This is very common, especially for your first timeout. You have 2 timeouts per game, so you get that timeout, try and break the run, and often coaches will save their second timeout till later on in the game.
It's a great sign for GA. I mean, you could see, we mentioned it a couple times, they just seemed a little bit out of sorts for whatever reason. But this is really a testament of a group of players that trust each other, right? To be able to go on this run, build off a little bit of success, and now to pull within 1 point when, you know, it could have easily gone the other way quickly.
Yeah, and they're making a lot of good individual plays that are leading to good team plays. People getting down, getting on the floor, digging the ball up, and then either making a good pass that leads to a good hit or just dumping the ball over and forcing the other team to make a play. It goes to the point of try not to ever give up points, make them earn the points in order to win points.
Stone still serving. For GA, we have Stone, Reynolds, Petco, Evans, Hirsch, and Smith.
A nice ball.
A little bit of a miss there. That makes it 10 for George. Is 10-8 George School now.
Nice play at the net by George School. A little short ball, and they went up, got it, hit it down to the ground. You'll see that the front row players are always waiting by the net, either to block the ball defensively or on a short pass like that. Yep, another one of those hit the net and went over.
I can't say I've ever seen this many. I mean, this is just the second set, and we're approaching double digits.
Well, at least it's in the middle of the game. That's really frustrating. If it's in the 20s or it's a game point and it hits the net and go over, it's a little frustrating. And unlike the etiquette in soccer, in tennis, when you hit the net, you wave at your opponent like you did something wrong. In volleyball, it's just part of the game to hit the net and keep on playing.
So here we are in second set, 13-9 George School. You notice at home that there's still a number of players between the jump serve and the set serve. When did the jump serve really start to kind of come into vogue in volleyball?
Well, if you had players that were able to do it in the 70s, in the 80s, when I was coaching, at that point, a lot of our volleyball players, it was a second sport for them. They might or a third sport. They played field hockey, played volleyball in the winter, played lacrosse in the spring, or softball. And then our first real jump server was a exchange student from Denmark who came, who was an outstanding volleyball player. And she was really one of the first players that we had this is in probably the late 80s, early 90s, that she was able to execute the jump serve consistently. And so my philosophy has always been that if you can do it and you can get a high percentage in, use it. Otherwise, there's nothing wrong with a good serve where you're standing flat-footed on the ground and you just get the ball in.
Some miscommunication there by GA,
Yep.
which ups the score now to 15-10 George School. We may have to come back to that infamous transfer student from Denmark at a later time. I can't say I've taken a lot of notice to the officiating of volleyball, but this one is thorough. Oop, net.
Ball the net on GA.
That'll make it 16-10 George School.
A lot of times in that situation, you just want your player to just square up to the net, jump up, put their hands up so that you don't hit the net.
I was watching specifically on that one. She was pretty close to being over the line as well. So
the one line judge in the corner, which are just our team players, they're supposed to watch for a foot fault.
Okay.
On each one of those.
And GA to serve, down by 5. That was out.
She's looking for help from the line judge, and the line judge is
Nothing worse than getting fired from a volunteer job, Mr. Martin. 17-11, George School. George School to serve. Make it 18.
George School's playing well this game.
They are.
Another timeout for GA.
And Coach had to feel this one possibly slipping away a little bit.
Yep.
Let's dig back into the Coach Martin volleyball bag of tricks. What are we talking about here?
Well, this is the time where you actually have to change the momentum. It's really hard. If they get up into the 20s and they have an 8 or 10 point lead, it's really hard to come back in those, because it means you have to be very, very consistent with your serves. So now is the time you just have to concentrate, make the first pass, get the ball to the setter, and you still have to keep on swinging. You can't stop swinging at the ball when you get the opportunity to do so. That's how you win points. But it really just starts with one pass at a time. You got to see where the serve is, the server's putting it. You got to get it up in the air. The setter's got to get to the ball, make good pass to their hitters, and make a good play, and change the momentum. You're also coaching right now for the third game and the fourth game. If you're to lose this game, you want to make sure that you're coming out and you're playing good volleyball right for the beginning of the third game.
Now, this little stretch aside, GA has played pretty well today, but you have to think the difference Fiona McKenna would make for this team. One of the three captains.
Nice play. Yes, when you lose an important player in your team, you know, that's everybody else has to pick up the slack a little bit.
And she's not feeling well today after practice yesterday, and so she's going to sit. She's sitting this one out. But she is a very dynamic player and would, you know, absolutely leave her imprint on this game. There you go.
Good serve. That time we used the net to our advantage on the serve.
You mentioned it before, but I doubt that was part of Coach's strategy, right?
He's a better coach than I am if he's able to do that, teach the kids to do that.
There we go.
Now that's a really good, legitimate serve. And the girls seem a little bit more excited right now. Having that energy level in volleyball is very, very important. Ball. All right. That was a 2 for 1, so we scored 2, they scored 1. You got to break the serve right away here.
It's 19-14, George School, still in the second set.
There you go. Again, that was a giveaway point by George School by missing their serve. We need to talk to the athletic director about getting some shades on the window with the sun streaming into our eyes over here.
Hopefully he's listening. Smith to serve. Unforced error. It'll make it 19-16 Cougars. This will be a testament to George School here if they can kind of withstand a little bit of a run.
Yep.
They had a big lead there for a while.
All right. Good job.
That's it.
That's another important point.
When you start to think, you know, you get that strategic timeout there, and maybe there's a mention, you know, you've talked about it a couple times, trying to keep Katie Stone away from that first hit so she can set you know, maybe that was just a nice little reminder for them of, you know, how they want to do things.
Yeah, and then coming out of the timeout, the girls just seem to be playing a little bit more excitement, a little bit more energy, which is also a very important part.
And
forcing George School to use a timeout now.
Right.
Same thing, they got to break the momentum here.
GA's pulled to 1. Score in the second set here, 19-18 Cougars.
Now the hard part for both teams is they've used their timeouts and they don't have any left as we get down to crunch time.
Yeah.
When the points are in the 20s. So that's really important for the players on the court to just focus, concentrate, put their serves in play, take it one pass at a time. I think the GA girls are trying to continue to enjoy themselves and raise their level of excitement and fun.
I mean, in the time that I've been here, they are one of the programs in the fall that do tend to have a pretty close bonds. Many sports do, but they particularly seem to have a really good time playing. A very strong team chemistry.
The other thing about volleyball is it really is a team game. You cannot, if you have one great player, that's fine, but you still need the other 5 players to play well. So you have to rely on all of the other players on the court. That was a nice play by the George School. On that set, the setter put the ball a little bit closer to the net than the previous time to the middle hitter, and she put the ball away very nicely.
And number 5 for George School, Gibson, she's been able to put a lot of stuff away close to the net. She's been pretty good for them today. Oh, the old off the rafters didn't work this time.
So had George School been able to get the ball on their side, they could play that ball. It can't hit the ceiling or the rafters and go over. That point goes to the other team.
Bit of a nail biter here, 20-19 George School. It's Stone to serve. That's a double hit, right?
Yep. It was also the 4th hit as well.
And you still can't do that in volleyball, right?
Still can't.
That makes it all tied at 20.
Good play by Kate.
There we go again.
Good ball. You'll notice on the play before when Kate hit the ball, she did it from the ground because she's a back row player, so she's actually not allowed to jump in front of the 10-foot line and hit the ball. So she made a smart play by standing flat-footed and hitting the ball.
To the avid volleyball fans at home, it's probably not lost to them that the last time we went on a run, it was also Kate Stone serving. And so here we go. GA has now swung fully around and now leads by 2 in this second set, 22-20.
I think you may have jinxed her.
Once again, there goes the Ginner jinx. That's 2 for 2, 2 sets, 2 jinxes.
All right. Just 2 more points.
Pokorny back in for Petko. Chawla to serve. It is 23-21 Cougars. I'm saying in.
Right on the line.
That is in.
Great serve.
24-21 GA.
And that's the game.
And that's the game, 25-21.
Those were 2 excellent serves at a crucial point in the game. That's a really nice comeback. That's something you can build on for this match and for future matches as well, to be able to come back like that. As coaches, you can remind your players about that later on.
No,
When
that's
you're
got to.
down- We were down 8 points, I think, 8 or 9 points was our biggest deficit.
That's got to be a heartbreaker for the Cougars. That was, they felt like that you had to feel that they had that one in hand to let it slip away like that.
And now as a coach, you do not want this next game you never want the third game if you're up two to go very far. You want to put them away now because you do not want the momentum to swing in the other direction.
So you've watched 2 sets now. You're Coach Doherty. What are you talking about in terms of preparation for this third set?
Well, in particular, you just have to, all the things we've been emphasizing and stressing, you have to put your serves in. You have to play good defense. You have to make sure that your setter is taking the second ball, not the first ball, and that when your hitters get the opportunity to swing, that they actually take a really good swing and force the other team to put the ball in play and force the other team to make a good play. Don't give up points. What I mean by that is unforced errors. In volleyball, doesn't matter, or any other sport, unforced errors will always come back to hurt you. But it's particularly true in volleyball. So I've always been of the philosophy that you're trying to make sure if they win a point, if your opponent wins a point, it's because they earned it, not because you gave it to them.
It's a great time to mention one of the things that has to be, that's always been a little bit disappointing is we have this big event at the end, the culmination of the fall, GAPC Day. And volleyball never gets to compete because PC doesn't have a volleyball team. But I'm happy to announce it's a great time for a plug that this fall we will be hosting the first annual GH44 celebration of female sports at Germantown Academy on October 23rd. GH44 will be a celebration of female sports, and all the fall sports teams will be playing on the 23rd. Dave, a good friend of yours, Ginny Hoffman, in which the day is named, who dedicated 44 years to Germantown Academy and the student athletes. We're so excited to be able to do this. We're so excited that Ginny's able to attend. And the day will begin, fittingly, with the field hockey game that will start at 9:30. It's going to be a great day. We're really excited about it as an athletic department to highlight, something that Ginny lived by. Play because you love it. It was one of her famous lines she told me the other day on the phone as we were talking in preparation for the day. And certainly that's something that all of our female athletes do.
Yeah, Jenny is a wonderful person. She retired she's now in her second year of retirement, and it's a wonderful way to honor everything that she did. Honestly, not only for all of the female athletes at GA, but for all of the athletes who have played all that time. She was a linchpin to everything. She worked with several athletic directors over an extended period of time, and she was incredibly diligent and hardworking. And she's just a wonderful person, and so we miss her around here. But we know, I know she's doing well in her retirement. Actually, she continues to help in our admissions office. It's hard to keep her away from here, even after all those years. So she's now in year 46, if you include the 2 years where she's helped out with the admissions office also.
True enough, a true mentor to so many student athletes, as you said, boys and girls.
Yep.
She lived and breathed Germantown Academy athletics. It's nice that she's still around, but we miss her in a full-time capacity. There's no doubt about it. She's the best.
She actually is down visiting another old GA faculty member, Wilson Okers, who lives now in Hilton Head, North Carolina, with his wife, Emily. Wilson was another one of the people who was a mainstay here. He coached many sports. He was the timer for the basketball team for years and years and years, and he also timed all lacrosse games, and he's been retired for about 10 years now. So Ginny just sent us a picture, my wife and I, Laura, who's the director of admissions, of her with Wilson and Emily down in North Carolina. So it was great to see them all together after all these years.
Funny you mention that, as I do fairly often, only in my second year as the athletic director, I'd have Ginny on speed dial. And I did talk to her the other day, and I didn't want to keep her long because I knew she was kind of taking in the sights in Hilton Head. So we hope she has a great time, and we can't wait till she gets back into Pennsylvania.
Yep. And we're ready for game 3. Let's go.
Here we go. Fast start for GA. That's what we're hoping for.
Nice.
And there it is.
It's an excellent start. That was a wonderful pass, a great set, and a great hit. It's what you're striving for each and every time. You practice that over and over and over again in practice. Receiving that serve, getting to the setter and finishing it off with a nice hit. Good. Good play by Kate Stone getting to the second ball, making a good pass.
And again, no panic.
Oh, nice. Well done. Again, another nice play. That was a scrappy play by both teams, keeping the ball alive, and GA finished off the play.
That makes it 2-0. On the floor for GA, Wang, Reynolds, Della Franza, Stone, Pokorny, and Smith.
Good. Good. Another
Great,
good point.
yeah.
And you can just see the energy level of the Germantown Academy team just rise every time they win one of those points. They're excited to play.
And that's one of those, you know, you mentioned earlier about the timeout situation. You know, that you can't help but get a feel. Certainly not second guessing the Cougars coach for taking that second timeout, but as you look here in the third set, right, already a 4-0 lead with a ton of energy at GA. You can't help but wish you had that in your back pocket still.
It's a great job of serving. That's 4 serves in a row, deep to the court, and 4 points in a row.
And that's 5-0 Germantown Academy. We're here in the third set. GA has won, for those who are joining us, GA has won the first 2.
Another very good serve. Good double hit by
Double
George
hit.
School. And all the momentum is in GA's favor right now, and they just have to keep it going.
6-0. Angie Wang seems to be in a little bit of a zone here. There's some force behind that serve, too. You can hear it all the way up here in the top row.
It's a very nice serve. That's a tough one to handle in the back row.
George School on the board, 6-1, Germantown Academy, as George School subbing.
What I liked about Angie's serve, it's very repeatable. It's the same motion over and over and over again.
That's it. Back to the basics.
Good hit.
Get the ball to Stone to set it. Very much a feel tic-tac-toe right there, right? Get it to Stone, set it up, knock it
Hard
home.
and hit it. I think of serving very similar skill to a foul shooter in basketball.
Sure.
Just doing the same motion over and over and over again.
Pitching mechanics, you know, we've hit it once or twice already, right?
Yep. Great serve.
Great
Very good
serve. Pokorny there on the serve, and that'll make it 8-1 GA.
An out call by the line judge.
It's Petco to sub in for GA. Wang, Reynolds, Petco, Chawla, Smith, and Stone.
Nice.
Wow, what a play.
Good play by George School.
Good play by George School. That'll make it 8-3 GA here in the third set.
That's what we're talking about. So we forced, because of the good play that we made, they had to make a good play to win a point, and that's just the way it goes in volleyball, and that's okay.
There's the now call. There's our director of facilities, Dan Houston, taking in a volleyball match. Smith to serve.
Good serve. Good. It's one of those examples where the George School player, she may have been better off in instead of trying to move backwards to hit it, to just bump the ball over and keep the ball alive and keep it in play.
You could see she almost was saying that to herself as she hit it. When we talked about it before, Coach Doherty saying that their serve is one of their strengths. You can tell when they get into a zone, there's some pretty significant downward tilt to those serves.
Yep. It was a very nice play, sharp angle hit, touched the line on the far side. It's a good dig. It's very, very good volleyball there.
And that'll make it 11-4 GA. There's another one.
Another serve. Our serve percentage has to be in this game has to be in the high 90s right now. I think we've only had one missed serve, and that's forcing the George School team to call timeout at this point, which is what you want to do. Use the timeout at 12-4, then you don't have them later on in the match.
Right. Well, this has got to be, you're the coach from George School. This has got to be take a deep breath, exhale. Right, let's not let this get away from us.
It's crunch time. You got to focus. They seem to be in the back row on these serve receives. They seem to be a little bit slow of foot trying to get to the ball, get in good position, and to bump the ball. He's actually demonstrating that right now. What he'd like them to do, moving their feet instead of just stretching their arms, actually getting behind the ball, squaring their hips to the target, get the ball to the setter, who then hopefully can get it to one of their hitters to hit the ball.
And you can't help but think, going back to that second set and that big lead that they had, and unfortunately for them, fortunately for us, that it would slip away, that they have to be second-guessing themselves just a little bit right now.
Took all their momentum away from them. If they win that game, it's a whole different match.
12-4 GA, Smith to serve.
Good serve. George School hit the net.
Wow,
Point
that's a
for
tough
GA.
break there.
That's a tough one.
And that'll bring it to 13-4 GA. Smith still serving.
Another good serve. Still have that 90-95% first serve in.
Point GA.
Ellie put the ball deep on that one. She could have also tried to just hit the ball hard coming down, especially with a big lead now. Now you can take some chances with an 11-point lead.
That's out.
Another good serve.
And Smith definitely in a little bit of a zone right now.
Yep.
She's really serving the ball well.
One of the good rules changes are that they did about probably 25 or 30 years ago was to allow servers to go the entire length of the baseline where they used to just have to be able to serve in the right side. So kids could move the ball all over the place now. It was definitely a good addition to the sport.
The lead now grows to 17-4 in this third set.
You see, just by getting the serves in, George School is having a hard time handling the serve and doing anything with it.
Starting to slip away. And they've played so well up until this point, really hanging in there with us against GA for the first 2 sets.
Let's see what we can do with this one. Whoop.
It's out. That'll make it 18-5. And here comes Reynolds for Smith. She deserves a break after that run.
It's a great serving run. Yeah. They must have called a net on George School.
No rest for the weary there with Smith back to serve. Uh-oh. And that'll make it 20-4 Patriots. And there we go again, right? The momentum of that second set to be able to come back from that large deficit. They came out ready to take care of business in this third set.
And it's challenging for George School to have to come back after losing that momentum on a play. Nice block. Very nice block. Well done.
Yeah, they're playing well right now. A lot of energy, a lot of confidence. Trying to give George School a little taste of their own medicine. Little net serve.
That was a great serving run. Well done.
Out goes Smith. In comes Reynolds. That's out. I'll say unsung hero today, even after that run by Smith with the serves. Liv Reynolds has really played well.
She has played well. Nice hit. Well done.
Really nice hit.
It's a nice set. Perfect height.
I think it's safe to say that this third set is the set of the Smiths. If you're not getting it by one, you're going to get it from the other. 22-6 now, Germantown Academy in the third set.
Good serve as an ace.
It's Stone back to work. We may have to change her name to Rock. Stone Steady just doesn't seem to have the same kind of ring to it. Called the net on that one.
Or she actually reached over the top of the net. The point for George School.
And that will bring the score to 23-7 here in the third set. As we get deeper into this third set, it's worth mentioning after today, Germantown Academy will be back in action on Tuesday the 5th against Agnes Irwin. That's away. Followed by a Thursday matchup against Gwen and Mercy Academy. And then comes on 10/12 Tuesday is that rematch against Notre Dame. Little miscommunication there. Point GA, that makes it 24-8 Patriots.
We are with a game point, match point. Oh, just a little long.
George School to serve, down 24-9 in the third set.
And that's the match.
And that's the match. So Germantown Academy is able to take care of the George School Cougars in 3 sets. That is 25-23, 25-22, and a third set of 25-9. Dave Martin, any final thoughts on today?
It's the first time I've seen the team play this year, and they did a very nice job. I really like the way they handled the second game. I think you can build off of the momentum of that second game where you came back from an 8 or 9 point deficit, and they should have a good season. Look forward to seeing them play again.
Well, that's just about it for us today. Congratulations to the Patriots. Again, final scores: first set 25-23, second set 25-22, third set 25-29. For all things GA, please visit our website, www.germantownacademy.net. We're very active on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. For Dave Martin, Corey Miller, our cameraman, the communications department, I am Tim Ginter. Thank you for tuning in. Go Patriots.